this podcast. Welcome to episode 137 of the Guardian 1 podcast. We record live Thursdays at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 Eastern, right here on twitch.tv/Guardian 1 Network. My name is Remy, and tonight I am joined by Gray.
Good evening, everybody.
Returning champion Unilala.
Woo, E3! My best Sharks impression.
And very special guest Chance from Destinydispatch.
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
We are going to be talking about all things Destiny, but first, housekeeping.
Hello, Guardians. Thank you for listening to the podcast, however it is that you are choosing to listen. Be sure to follow Guardian 1 on Twitter at G1net. That's G1NET. In addition, be sure to check out the Guardian 1 website at guardian1.net. If you want to send us an email, you can send it to feedback@guardian1.net. We also have a Bungie.net forums group. We utilize the forums for both comments and feedback, so be sure to join the conversations going on there. Big thank you to all those currently in the Twitch chat. As Remy said at the top of the podcast, you can watch the show live at twitch.tv/Guardian1 Network. We broadcast every Thursday at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific. If you can't catch the live show, you can always find the podcast on iTunes, as well as upload it to the Guardian 1 YouTube channel at youtube.com/Guardian1 Network. Guardian 1 is a proud member of the Guardian Radio Network, so be sure to check out the Guardian Radio Network website at theguardiansofdestiny.com. There you'll find all of the different podcasts as part of the network, including the flagship podcast Guardian Radio. They broadcast every Monday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Pacific on twitch.tv/Guardian Radio. You can also follow their Twitter account at Guardians of D and their YouTube channel, youtube.com/Guardians of D. Other podcasts that are part of the Guardian Radio Network include Ghosts and Echoes, a podcast that contains a bit of fan fiction and audio versions of the Grimoire cards, as well as the Destiny lore-focused podcast called Focus Fire Chat. Once again, thanks for joining us on the podcast. I'll see you again next week.
Alrighty, thank you very much, Hollow River. Just real quick before we start the show, I wanted to address my absence. The last couple of weeks have been really, really crazy for me. Basically, long story short, what happened, I received bronchitis. Bronchitis turned into pneumonia. Pneumonia turned into the plague, and then I broke a rib coughing so hard. And all of this added up to easily the worst 3 weeks of my life. It's been really rough. There was actually several times I thought it was the end for me, like nights where I was just standing up, like I didn't sleep, I didn't lay down, I was just standing up, leaning over a fan, trying my best to keep breathing. And it's crazy, especially when it's funny the things that you notice when you're outside of your normal routine. For example, one of these nights where I was just standing there, I heard I was downstairs and I heard some like the smallest commotion in the kitchen, like a mouse moving something around. And I look over there, and it's Lucy. It's my 5-year-old, and she just comes downstairs in the middle of the night to get herself some water. This is something I had no idea happened, and because I was there at that time, I got to see this. And then she told me she loved me, and she went right back up to bed. And so this was crazy. But yeah, there was many times where I just walked around saying, I guess I was sicker than I thought. Just in case those were my last words, it would also be the same last words as Jim Henson. A very small consolation prize, but it was rough. And so I just want to give a big thank you to the community health professionals who helped me out originally, the people at the ER who tended to me. That was really great. I also want to thank everyone on the podcast for keeping it going. You know, at one point there was a time where I couldn't imagine this show being done without me, and for everyone to just keep going, not only as good as I would hope that it would happen, but even better. You know, like, I don't know that I've ever seen Jez come to life as much as he was when I wasn't around. And so, like, I don't know. I hope it's something that everyone maintains this fierceness, because it's crazy on the podcast without me. But it was really great to see that happen. Additionally, I want to thank Gray for all of his knowledge on the many things that I asked him about. Gray was an amazing help, and Agrios, Agrios is a fountain of information that you just wouldn't even know until you happened upon it. And so his help with breathing exercises was really great, and I don't know, I really appreciate that as well. Additionally, I received an email today from it says, Remy, all of Guardian 1 knows how much you care about this clan, and we want you to know that we care about you too. We took up a collection to help with your recent medical bills. Many of our members donated to this cause, and many more sent along their well wishes. We are all happy to see you are doing better and hope this helps once those medical bills start coming in. And I don't know, that was really very touching, and a nice large sum of money that's definitely going to help towards those bills. And I just can't thank everyone enough for their support. And it just means a lot to me. It means a lot to me to know that I made a difference in this community, in this world, to the point to where people have reached out to me and are helping me in so many different ways. So I really appreciate it. This will not be the last that I mention this before the end of the show, but I just wanted to start off with some recognition. And you know, I really appreciate all of it. So before I start crying, let us talk about Destiny. Chance from Destiny Dispatch. Oh my God, it is so great to have you on the show. How are you doing
thanks,
tonight?
Man. I'm doing good, man. I'm doing really good. It's been a long time since you and I have had a conversation, man. It's been quite a while.
It's been a really long time. It's been so long that some people have no idea who Destiny Dispatch is. And this makes me sad, and also makes sense, because at some point I feel like after we realized what Destiny was and what it wasn't, there was a lot of reason for people to just go about their business, same old. So I think what I'd like you to do right now is to explain to everyone listening right now, who definitely might not know what Destiny Dispatch is. I'd like you to explain, like, when this all started rolling out and everything that you were able to achieve in the moments that were definitely, without a doubt, Destiny Dispatch moments.
Yeah, so well, this whole thing kind of started back when the leak happened, IGN leak with the Destiny concept art. I was like, man, this looks awesome. It's Bungie. I got to jump on it. So I decided to start a Twitter and just sort of kind of nonchalantly kind of cover it and just kind of have some fun with it. And then it actually started to get a lot bigger than what I expected. People started following. It started to gain traction. People got really excited. And Destiny Dispatch kind of turned into essentially a place where people could come to see what's going on with the community that's surrounding Destiny. So our main focus was, we wanted to emphasize the importance of content creators and the stuff that they do. We wanted to really put, lower level people to the forefront so that people could see their content and realize that, a lot of people are doing a lot of awesome things in the community. But like you said, Remy, as Destiny Dispatch was going, we started to build a lot of hype, and then when the game actually dropped, we all know that Destiny, when it dropped, wasn't the the best game in the world. It was very lack thereof of content. I mean, it was very barren and in a lot of ways disappointing from what the fans had kind of expected it to be or hoped it to be. So we kind of dropped off the map a little bit. And I think that's why, you mentioned that not a lot of people know who Destiny Dispatch is. And that would be because we did drop off the map because we, kind of hit that lull moment where we were just kind of like, man, we really wanted this to be something that we could really embrace a huge community around, and we kind of let go, which was a bad thing because Destiny has thrived in a way that I have never seen like a video game thrive in a very long time. The community is huge. They're happy. They're healthy. And it's really awesome to see. We did some stuff before we actually dropped off, though. We did 2 actually fan fiction novels. I don't know if you remember those, Remy, the Become Legend novels.
Of course I do. Yeah. One of my stories is in there. The
yeah,
Wall.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. It was a lot of fun, and I really need to bring those back up and let people see them again because a lot of people worked very hard on that stuff, and it came out really nice. But we were focused on community projects, and it's kind of just me now. David and Jackie have moved on. They were the people who helped me during this whole thing, and kind of were the reason that this thing became so big. And they moved on to do their own life things, and it's just kind of me here now. But I kind of want to just take this thing and try and re-spark it and try and do some really cool community stuff. I'm working in the background on some projects that I hope to get done in the future.
Excellent. It was really amazing what you guys were able to do in the Destiny Dispatch heyday. And really, I feel like it was unfortunate that there wasn't more in Destiny to support even what you were doing. Talking about making like books of fan fiction. Like, this is huge. These are people who wanted to spend more time in Destiny, who wanted to really put in more of what they are and what they wanted to do in there. And when it dropped, it was like, okay, well, this is just a game, and like you're saying, it has definitely grown and survived and thrived in this lack of what we all wanted it to be. Right. But it's, I remember you guys, you reached out to me, Chance. This was after I was making my Dear Bungie videos. You reached out to me to become part of this team. And I felt really great about that. And this is at the same time, right around the same time that Bife was also part of Dispatch. And for those who don't know, there was a time before Bife had 200,000 subscribers on his YouTube channel. He had just barely over 5,000, and they were all from like Halo Reach. So it was really, really very cool to see this. I mean, a super young community, and I feel like the pinnacle, the thing that's going to be remembered forever, at least for me, is that community video that we did.
Thank you, Bungie.
Like that, it was a really great project to be part of, and every now and then I'll go back and watch it, and I think, man, it was just a lot of fun. It was just a lot of fun, and it's really great being accepted by a community. And like you were saying, you wanted to take people who were not big creators and put their work to the forefront to show other people. Like that's a really fantastic thing that I think it can even still be done today.
Absolutely.
And I feel like you are starting off with a really great advantage of like Gray. He didn't start playing until like Taken King. So that was after you had already moved on with your life stuff. And so when I said, "Oh my God, dude, Chance from Destiny Dispatch is going to be here," he's like, "What's Destiny Dispatch?"
Who's that?
And like I don't know how to explain. Like, oh man, like they were the shit before there was the shit to be the shit. So
it's funny. It's funny to think back because. We were actually, it was me and Alan from More Console. We were the probably 2 first real hardcore Destiny Twitter folk. And whereas Alan, I was so young, I was actually only 15, I think, at the time, maybe around that, and I decided I didn't want to do YouTube because I was a very young country dude and no one really wants to listen to that. So, but Alan was doing YouTube and I was doing the Twitter thing, and we actually did a lot together and kind of grew the channels. It's just funny to look back and think that, oh my gosh, it's been so long since that happened. It's like ridiculous. I'm 20 years old now. I'm like, what is going on? People are calling me sir, and I just like remember a time when it was like he's just a little kid in the Destiny community, right? Doing some cool stuff. So it is cool, and I hope to recapture, like I said, that spirit again in the future.
Well, I don't think the spirit ever left you. I think that the same thing that happened with everyone else. We needed more to chew on, and what Bungie gave us was just a game. I mean, it was a great game. Even in its flawed form at the very beginning, it was still fantastic to play. Like I still have an amazing amount of fun, even though I'm in this corridor of Destiny burn right now where I'm not really interested in playing at all. If I do pick it up, like for my weekly boxes, I think, man, this is such a great game. Why don't I play this more often? And then I go to the tower and my vault is full and my postmaster is full and I don't want to delete anything. You know what? So I'm curious to know what your vault looks like. You took time off of DestinyDispatch. You took time off of Destiny altogether. Is your vault full right now? And additionally, how far along are you on your books? Give us vault information and books information.
So my vaults are interesting because essentially what ended up happening was after Vaults of Glass, I kind of started to disappear. But I still came back every DLC and played the game. So I'd have Crota's End weaponry. I have old Vaults of Glass weaponry. I've got King's Fall. I've got even Access now. I still play it. I still played it when the stuff came out. I just didn't really feel motivated enough to actually cover it again until the Taken King dropped. That's really when I was like, oh, okay, I see what Destiny could be and what Bungie really wants Destiny to be, and I'm totally on board with that. So I started covering it again. As for my books, I am 89% through Age of Triumphs, I think. Of course, I had all the story stuff done because I did play everything that came out, that Bungie released when it came out. I think the only book I didn't do well on was there a year 2 book? It was, I can't remember what, it was the blue book. I didn't do very well on that, I think, right? Yeah, the moments. I didn't do very good in that one. So that one's a little weak. But I still, like I said, I still watched Bungie. I still paid very close attention to what they were doing because they are my favorite developer. And I think they always will be. Just because anytime I watch a vidoc by Bungie, I'm like fangirling. It doesn't matter like what's happening in the vidoc. I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's Bungie, and they're so good at what they do. And I think they just had a little bit of a goof when Destiny came out in terms of content, and now they understand what the Destiny fans want and what they can do, and they're really pushing it forward. And I'm very happy with the way that they took the game and are continuing to take it in Destiny 2.
I agree. I'm really excited about the how far they've chosen to take this next iteration of Destiny. When you think about all of the years that Destiny has been happening, and I, like this show has been going that entire time, like since before Destiny came out, and we've been doing the show. This is episode 137, so we have like every step of the way, been picking it apart and giving our feedback. And really, I bet if I went back and listed, I should have been writing all this down. I bet if we went back and listed all the things that we wanted to see in Destiny, they really checked off a huge number of them.
Oh, they did, for sure.
One of those that I never went back and revisited, and I just remembered that we were discussing a long time ago, was the idea that there would be like a little icon next to like activities so that you could see if your friends were playing in those activities. And that was a small change that, when you look at these things, I can tell if I have friends in Crucible. I can tell if I have friends doing the Nightfall. That's really great stuff. Very small, right. But it definitely changes the way the game plays. So yeah, so very excited to see how they handle the hunger. The community has a serious hunger for exploration. The community has a serious hunger for content. I'm really curious about how they're going to handle vault space. I mean, vaults are coming back, and so vault space at some point will be an issue. Yep. But I don't know. Okay, Gray, please, if you will, what question or questions do you have for our very special guest, Chance from Destiny Dispatch?
Chance, it's a pleasure to get to meet you. And as Remy said, I am a year 2 player, so all the salt about year 1 Destiny not meeting up to the expectations that guys like you and Dear Bungie, broadcast on their various channels and avenues. Going back to those times, what 1 or 2 things would you have really wanted to see in Destiny 1 when it came out, or maybe it's not even something that we've seen yet today in Destiny, that you're still kind of thinking that Bungie might have just missed an opportunity by not putting that in the game, especially if it was an idea that you guys had way back in the day?
That's a good question. So one of the things that the Dispatch team talked about a lot in our meetings and on our podcasts was the sense of worldly exploration and discovering things, and even weapons that really made me want to continue to run around in the areas, the Cosmodrome and all those areas. I remember talking about the Cosmodrome extensively in a podcast, talking about what could be here and what could be there, what we could do here. And obviously, in the game release, it just turned in, it was just a giant circle of a map that you would go around in a circle and collect stuff, just basic materials. And it was very disappointing. So something I really wanted to see, I wanted to, go into an area, see like this, crack in a cave and be like, oh, what's that? Walk up in it and then walk into the cave and be like, oh my gosh, there's a boss here. Let me kill it. You kill it and you get the loot and you're like, oh, that's so cool, because that was something that, looked like it was going to be a thing back in the original Destiny E3, where Joseph Staten was killing the boss with his Thunderlord, got the Thunderlord from the boss, and that was like a big deal. It's like, whoa, we're gonna have like these cool weapons dropping from bosses. That's so crazy. So I wanted stuff to happen like that in the patrol areas, and was vastly disappointed when I discovered that it was basically just a place to go to grind stuff out. That was about it. There was no reason for me to be there. But obviously, we see in Destiny 2 that they're doing the Lost Sectors now, which is a really, really, really big deal for me, and I hope that they do it right. Another thing I really wanted to be fully fleshed out and awesome when I jumped on was the Crucible, and it was not. Spoiler alert. It was very unbalanced when it first came out, and there's still elements of it that are unbalanced today, but it was like really rough. I remember year 1 was just hand cannons galore. It was kind of ridiculous. You would just go around the corner and be like, hand cannon. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so frustrated here because, I wanted it to be sort of a Halo experience. And it ended up being more of a kind of, I don't want to say Call of Duty because I feel like that's like bashful in a way, but the time to kill was lower. The way that they went about balancing it was more Call of Duty in a way. But, again, they're fixing that in Destiny 2, so that's a cool thing with the new weapon slots and stuff. So that's really the 2 things that I remember most. I mean, obviously, I wanted more content. Who didn't want more content? I mean, from the base game, it was like a couple of strikes, and, you're kind of like, I'm kind of burnt out doing the same thing over and over again. But then again, there's only so much you can do. I mean, can't have unlimited content when the game comes out, so just kind of have to deal with it.
I think you're muted, Gray.
I can totally understand that. And even my concept of year 1 is so skewed because coming in with the Taken King, it felt like there was so much content that was brought to the game with that expansion. I think that we're going to go into Destiny 2 and we're going to have some really exciting things that you're talking about wanting from Destiny 1. You have the Lost Sectors you mentioned, which I'm excited about, but they were just mentioning too some kind of new type of public event that they're going to be having that kind of pops up, and you're supposed to try to attack this live event as a larger team, and it's going to be only for a certain amount of time at a specific place on the map. That whole idea that they're building this from the ground up to be more engaging and have longevity with new things. I'm just hoping, probably the worst part about Destiny 1 in terms of the lack of content was just how repetitive it was. So I'm hoping as they bring in these new things like Lost Sectors and these new special public events, if they can keep it varied enough that it doesn't turn into feeling, just routine, I think that they've got something really good on their hands.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So kind of thinking, I'd like to segue a little bit about your thoughts into Destiny 2. What's something in Destiny 2 that you're most excited to see?
Ooh. So for me, when I first saw the Destiny reveal trailer way back when, and the leaks as well for IGN, it really pushed this idea of this kind of fantasy-driven, awesome big world with huge stories to tell, and a lot of engaging stories to tell. And one thing that Destiny severely lacked, even towards the end, was really engaging stories. Now, The Taken King and Rise of Iron did really good. They came back from something that wasn't great and made it good. But just seeing the trailer that released at E3 with Gaul confronting the Titan and basically, going into this darker monologue about like, you're not brave, dude. You just, you don't know how to fear death anymore. And that's just like, whoa, okay, so we're getting real right now. Like, this is a real story, and they're trying to really dig deeper into the world and the lore surrounding it. And then you have the adventures, which have also been said to really go deeper into the lore. So I'm super excited about that. I'm a really big lore guy. I don't like to read, but the Grimoire made me read. It's like, I want to read and I want to know more about this universe. So I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, I was, that whole scene with Gaul and thinking, like, I think about the major enemies from Destiny 1 and, Axis he's fine, but I don't know that there's a whole lot of character behind him, at least nothing that really grabbed me. Oryx obviously had a big impression on me as a year 2 player, and just thinking about how badass Oryx seemed, and then you've got Gaul coming and he's able to do something that even the Hive and Oryx wasn't able to do. And maybe Oryx would have been able to do something that dramatic had the Queen not stepped in and completely hamstrung his operation, but Gaul looks pretty badass. A little scary, truly scary.
Yeah. He's a character that I think actually has a story that is really much deeper than, hey, I just don't like you, Guardian, so I'm going to kill you. You can tell from his armor, the way that he looks, he believes deep down that he deserves the light, and that this is his thing. The Traveler, all the light from the Traveler belongs to him and the Cabal. And it's a really interesting kind of narrative setup where you're like, okay, so he's not here to just kill us for the sake of killing us. He believes deep down that this is supposed to be his power, and this is supposed to be, his world, and that we are cowards and we don't know how to properly use it. And I think that's going to be really, really awesome if they do it right, to see it portrayed. And it's interesting because I think about in the trailer when Zavala slams the table. It's kind of one of those things where I'm kind of wondering if Zavala is also going to be questioning himself in certain ways about whether Guardians truly do deserve the light in some areas. I'd really like if they dig deep into that. I don't know if they will. I mean, we've only seen Gaul really go into some story stuff, but that would be really cool if they did.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that we've seen the beginning of that. Like where Zavala says, oh, well, maybe if you can find your strength again, Guardian, maybe there's hope for the rest of us. Like, I feel like that's definitely on the plate. I love Zavala. Keep going.
He's awesome.
Keep going, Greg.
I'm actually, so I got some other questions that I can certainly go to, but I'm going to pass it on to Unilala so I don't steal any of hers.
I bet I'm going to steal one of yours. So, I mean, we have so much information coming out of E3 and from the big Destiny reveal, and one of the biggest things is the change in the classes and missing classes and classes we don't even know anything about yet. So my question is, what is your main, if you do have a specific main that you like to play, and is that going to be the same in D2, or is it something where you're going to be looking forward to try something really new?
Now, this is a really hard question because Destiny 2, I actually started out as a Titan and main Titan all the way through until Rise of Iron and didn't touch a single other class. I only played Titan. That was it.
Wow.
And then
that's amazing.
It is, right? I only, played Titan, and it was a character that I loved. I always loved doing the bubble. I was like, oh, dude, I'll play Defender. I love it. I love doing that kind of stuff. But then I got my hands onto a Nighthawk Gunslinger, and basically it changed my world around. I was like, oh my gosh, this is the best. So since Rise of Iron, I've been playing Celestial Nighthawk Gunslinger mostly. As for D2, man, I don't know. The revamped subclasses have made me go, oh my, I have no idea who I'm going to play. I mean, you have the Warlock and just their ability. I really love the ability to throw down the little circle areas with healing or damage buffs. I love their new sword, attack. The new super is pretty darn cool. But then again, my homeboy Titan has Captain America shield, and I'm like, oh my gosh, dude, he looks cooler than ever, and he, from the looks of things, can take damage with the shield while he's continuing to move, while Guardians behind him shoot over him at the enemies. That's so cool. That's something that I would love to do as a defensive player. But at the same time, 6 shots in my gunslinger, that would be pretty darn cool. But at the D2 beta will probably be where I jump in as a Titan first and foremost, play the new Sentinel class, and we'll see what happens from there.
Awesome.
Is that it, Unilala?
We'll go around.
Okay. I definitely hear you there, Chance. I started my life as a Titan, and actually I've, at this point in Destiny, I've run all 3 characters on both systems, like all the time. Like all of them are 400, and I ended up playing mostly with the Hunter. Night Stalker. Night Stalker is my jam, like nobody's business. I love it. But seeing all of this new Destiny 2 material, and also like if we were going to be doing like some role playing or like making a movie, I would want to be a Titan. Like in my heart, I'm a Titan. I love Zavala. I love the Zavala's backstory. That video was fantastic.
Oh yeah, chill, goosebumps everywhere.
Yeah, like it's really great to see, background on these characters, and I feel like visually the Titans are much more striking this time around, and also the idea of throwing down multiple different shields. There's the small shield, there's the large shield, and now there's word that Ward of Dawn will be coming back in Destiny 2. Like this is an important role to play. I would say, however, that it's probably a good idea for you to get with the people who you're going to be playing with, and making sure you're not doubling up. Like it's cool to run 3 Ward of Dawns, but maybe having a damage buff would be a good idea too. So definitely something to think about planning out future actions, but definitely Titan's going to be my first time around. Unilala, what's going to be your first character in D2? What are you working on?
Oh, do you really have to ask? Hunter, of course. Hunter forever. Although, man, that Titan's looking pretty sweet, and I never thought I would say that, because Titan's always been the third and the last and the most tiresome and chore-ridden one to level, and I've done it on both systems. So, but the idea of being able to, hold down the muckmers and throw down a bubble if I need to, and throw up the partial cover in the middle of the thing, and throw a Captain America shield, because I love Captain America. Man, that is really tempting, and I have been wrecking base on my Striker Titan lately.
Yeah, Striker's now roaming, so I mean that's like a big deal that you can run around and just start slamming people with your shoulder as a Striker Titan. Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like it's almost like the Titans are getting all of the Avengers abilities. Like Hulk, he's got the Hulk smash, boom, 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 and then he's got Captain America's shield. So we'll see what else they come up with, because it's not going to be just that one class.
Right. Gray, what about you? Where are you starting in Destiny 2?
Since Una just said that, it made me think of that terrible promo that came out for Capcom versus Marvel during the PlayStation E3. It made me think, what if they did a cross game of Destiny versus Marvel, Guardians going up against the Avengers. Be too similar. I'm going to be, it's kind of odd. I'm a hunter through and through. That's what I've mained on both systems, PlayStation and Xbox. But I think, I think I'm going to change things up. I've always liked the idea of the hunter and the hunter mindset. I played, like, for Borderlands, the first Borderlands, I was Mordecai was my character. I loved, sniping from a distance. I liked the idea of sneaking around, being very nimble. But I think I'm going to change it up to enjoy some space sorcery here, and I'm going to go Warlock. The Dawnblade seems really interesting. It seems like that's already, unfortunately, the first class that people have learned how to cheese certain aspects of the super. So, yeah, I might try to figure out how to do that fly maneuver with Dawnblade, but no, I think it's going to be my actually Hefty Flounder, right? My wife, she mains a Warlock and really enjoys it. And there's times that I wish that I could play my Warlock better. I just don't practice it enough. So I think I'm going to try starting out. We'll see how long I go before I maybe get a little frustrated and want to switch over to maining on my Hunter, but I'm going to definitely try to go with my Warlock.
Excellent. Yeah, Dawnblade looks really fun. I love the flourish that the Warlock does when it first starts, and then floating through the air, and like this spinning blade. It seems like it's really cool. Like, it seems like a lot of fun. I'm a big fan of floating through the air and attacking my enemies from above. It looks like good times. And if Ward of Dawn is making it back, who knows what other changes are going to be made to these different subclasses. So, I mean, I have my eye on all of them, and Chance, when I first started playing and I was only working my Titan, I would play the Titan because I loved it, and my second was Warlock because self-res is not to be underestimated. Being able to bring yourself back from death is that's huge. That is huge. Mm-hmm. And so at some point I wasn't even going to play Hunter at all, and then now it's like what I play mostly. And so it's, I've got my eyes open on all of them. Although I am jealous and also not jealous of the fact that all of the aspects of these other characters had to look like magic to you, like not actually playing them yourself. You were, at a disadvantage in knowing exactly what these people were capable of. Even if you did all of your homework, they're still not that intuitive. I use this also, and at the same time, how cool is that to not know anything about these other people and what they're able to do, and how fascinating that must look like from the outside. So
very true.
Okay, great. Gray,